all right, this is what happens, everybody. Becky Spratford shows up, and I'm immediately making her my new best friend, just like I did with Conrad against his will. And I just can't help it. You are, you have, and we're going to go over your accolades. It felt like homework, Becky. There are too many, and you have an incredible career. But what has happened in the past year and what is going to happen in the year ahead is so exciting.
Thank you.
It
Yeah.
couldn't happen to a nicer person, and I know you now about 4 minutes. All right, are you ready?
I'm
This is
ready.
the part where it feels like, people sing happy birthday to you at a restaurant and you just have to sit there and take it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm going to go through what is a fraction of your accolades.
Yes, that's fine.
And you're going to fill in the blanks because I feel like we're just scratching the surface. So you just said it yourself. Librarian of 15 years, same library?
Well, no, I actually started. This is also the 25th anniversary
25 years.
of me getting my library degree, like right now.
Okay.
And so I did 15 years at one library, and I left to do the consulting thing full time. That's when I was
Okay.
able to start reviewing. And also, I was a library trustee, an elected official in Cook County, Illinois, one of the most corrupt places in America. I did not go to jail, and I did not I stayed legal,
Be
but
a different
24
podcast.
years, 6 terms in a row on my library board. So that just ended in May. So, yeah.
I apologize to the listeners because we seldom have this level of slacker on to talk about her life. I mean, before we even get into the horror aspect of
Mhm.
everything, you have such an impressive career. You've done so much. Okay, so look, long story short, why did I reach out to Becky Spratford other than the fact that you have written what is honestly like this bellwether of a book in 2025, Why I Love Horror, and we're going to get into that. But that's not why I reached out. Look, that is the icing on the cake and the cherry on top for sure. Why I reached out is because just like Conrad Stump, everyone, who his interview posted today, and of course he had the best, snarkiest, most delightful comments to say about it on Instagram. Totally Conrad, and I
He's
loved
so
every
great on
one of them.
Instagram. He really is.
He's just, I mean, just one of those people like yourself that you meet them and you just immediately you're like, oh, this is going to work out. These are good people. That's why I reached out. I run the Paper Cuts horror literature column for Macabre Daily. So I interview the authors that you interview,
Right.
and you talk to, and you read, and you gravitate towards, and you love. But I had this epiphany of, wait a minute, how come no one is really taking the time to shine a spotlight on those people that amplify and are the cheerleaders with a megaphone? You've got to read this, and literature matters, and it is what makes life one of the facets that makes life fantastic. So I started putting a list together of people that I wanted to reach out to. And as I worked my way through it, and I'm embarrassed to say this, I knew of you, and of course I knew of the book, but I really hadn't put the breadcrumbs together, which is one of the delightful aspects of doing interviews. I interview Anna Dupree, which leads me to Rob Olson,
Yeah.
which leads me to Conrad, which leads me to you. Now, there are people that I've interviewed, in between. I won't go through them all, but I'm putting together this murderer's row of people that shine a light on literature, horror specifically, but literature in general. And I just want to applaud you, and I want people to know your name. They already do. They already do. But I want to amplify you for a change. So
Well, I
that's why
think
you're
what's
here.
interesting about this is that, like, all of us, our job is behind the scenes,
Yeah.
right? I've been training library workers to help them match books with readers of every genre since full time since 2015.
Yeah.
And I literally go, like, if your library is closed for an in-service day, I might be training them, right? So I go and I help them match books with every kind of reader. I teach them the tricks. I don't care what they read. Horror happens to be my specialty because over the years, I wrote 3 textbooks. I wrote 3 books before this one, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
3 textbooks, but they were for librarians, right? And library workers, 4 ALA editions. And that was teaching people about horror. And, being behind the scenes, you just are, that's what you do. Like, my job is to get libraries to buy the books and put them on the shelves.
Yeah.
My job is to promote the books that people wouldn't find without our help. They know how to buy the James Pattersons and the Stephen Kings and the Nora Roberts. And so I'm there to shine light on all the other books for them. So it is weird to, I made the choice to write Why I Love Horror to take my voice to readers as opposed to library workers. But like, I'm out there doing it. And, first of all, it was with Saga Press, and Joe Monti and I have been on these like parallel tracks for years, always talking, always working together. And he wanted the book right away, even though they never did nonfiction before this and at Saga. And, when we went out to dinner in New York with people, he was like, Becky is this champion and I'm so glad. And I'm like, oh, I keep forgetting. Or like someone told me, Becky, you're the number one paid reviewer of horror in the country. Lots of people might review more than me, but I know I do like 68 to 70 books a year for money. I know. And I'm like, oh, I just do that though. Right. Like,
you don't even think about it. You're just
I
like,
don't even think about it. Yeah, I know. And so it is strange, but I also spend a lot of my time, and I always have as a librarian, mentoring and uplifting other people. Like Conrad's a great example. But there's people that are not in the horror world that are just, library directors now. Or I taught at the Graduate School of Library and Information Science for 8 years. I taught a reader's advisory class. So there's a whole bunch of little Beckys running around teaching.
Heroes, all of them. Heroes, all of them.
So it's fun, but it has been weird this year to, I guess I didn't realize that when I wrote the book, I thought I could still hide behind the authors, right? I know. And so it's been interesting, especially when like we get on stage and like Clay McLeod Chapman interviews me at Twisted Spine, or Grady Hendrix interviews me at Conrad's Library. Like, it's definitely, it's been eye-opening, and it's been a year of coming to terms with moving out of the shadows, but it's kind of safer in the shadows. So it's just interesting. It's been interesting.
Again, now I've known you for virtually 10 minutes, and I can say with all the confidence in the world, you belong center stage.
Yeah, well,
You do.
I'm getting used to it, I guess. It was weird because my goal in 2020, I do goals, and I do them for librarians. Again, just an example. I assess my goals from the year before. I do this all on my blog, and then I post the new ones. And so I just did the exercise a few days ago where I assessed how I did last year, and I set new goals for this year. And one of my goals in 2025 was to double down on myself.
Okay.
And when I assessed it, I was like, well, that worked way more than I anticipated.
I want event after event after event. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're taking you away from your family, but this is the year of Becky. I'm telling you, this is it.
We'll see.
I'm excited. I'm gonna let the listeners know we've already made a bet. I told Becky we're gonna see each other at StokerCon, and we're gonna bet a cocktail that I feel like you will, whether forcefully or not, be drawn from behind the curtain. You are dynamic. You have all of this knowledge. You're passionate about the material, and I just think it's kismet. It needs to happen. Along the lines of, nothing makes me happier than you writing Why I Love Horror, Emily Hughes writing Horror for Weenies, Sadie Hartman writing 100 horror novels you need to read before you're murdered. It is happening. And I think you all deserve it, and I think you all do need to take center stage. I do. It's time.
And we all talk to each other and work together, and have been through this together, which has been nice to see it all happening. Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm terrible at my job, let me finish your accolades. We scratched the surface.
Okay, sure.
All right. So you're the author of the Blogspot, RA for All, which does train librarians for, to help leisure readers. I have that correct, right?
Yes, I help library workers help leisure readers of every genre.
But RA for All is like, I have to direct everybody to it. And everyone, just look right below, because you're going to see the link right there. Becky, all your links are right below right now.
Great.
So People would just click there and they're going to be able to follow Becky Spratford wherever you may go and where you are currently. RA for All it is like this incredible treasure trove of everything in literature that you could possibly, especially for the horror lover, that you could possibly want and don't know about. When I started really combing through it, I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, sure, here we go." And Mr. Know It All, "Oh yeah, no, I know this, I know this," and I didn't even get 3 clicks down, and I was like, "Oh wait a minute, oh wait a minute," and I spent way too much time when I should have been doing other work, but it was so fantastic. I spent way too much time getting lost in it, and that's what I want people to do, and that's what you're providing. So, RA for All, start there, everyone. Okay,
You can
start.
learn all the library secrets.
It is just
It's a great way for anyone who's a reader to understand how to share books and find books. Yes.
Becky. I'll challenge that. You're 1000% correct. I think it's also perfect for someone who maybe isn't a reader but is curious, and it's an easy navigation system, and you just follow along, and you kind of like it's like a menu. You choose a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. You can kind of get
Well, I
lost
do
there.
have a master's degree in library science, so I do work really hard to catalog it
You
well.
do-
I get so angry with other people's resources because they don't think about tags and they don't think about how people can like get back to where they
and it's
were.
also right there on the right
Yeah.
hand side. It's
Yes,
all right there for you.
it's very clear. Yeah. And it's funny because I'll like go in and fix other people's sources. I'm like, here's the access from the last 4 years of their lists because
Good.
they make it impossible for you to find them.
It's so good. It's so good and comprehensive. So I want everybody to start there, but then your additional homework is every single person has to go out and buy, whether you're a horror lover or not. The book is incredible. Why I Love Horror. We're going to stick a pin in that for just one moment because, of course, I'm going to circle back to that. You also have all these incredible events coming up. Okay, you mentioned it. You're with Paul Tremblay and John Langan and Eric LaRocca for the event in Boston
Yeah.
that is for the Shirley Jackson Award.
It's January 31st. It's not on the website yet, but it's at Copper Dog, which is
Okay.
in Beverly, which is Paul's store. Eric LaRocca, yeah, and Catherine Valente. We're all involved with the Shirley Jackson Awards. And Paul and John are in my book. And so we're going to do, it's going to be like a $5 suggested donation to the Shirley Jackson Awards. And it's going to be why I love Shirley Jackson.
And look, I'll be the villain here. Everyone $5. You can't even get a Starbucks for 5. Make it 10. Everybody donate 10, and then do 20.
We are not forcing anyone.
No, we're not forcing.
Not...
No, I'm the bad guy. I'm the
but
bad guy.
We hope to get this as it's 6 months before the awards. We're hoping to make this an annual thing, and hopefully, like I'm going to bring it back to Chicago for next year, and we'll keep it going and spread it.
Boy, don't forget about New York.
We can have you do one in Long Island.
Well, or hey, look, how about our friends at the Twisted Spine?
Maybe I would love that. I know Lauren. I've done an event there.
All right, done. I'm going to bug Jason and Lauren. We're doing it there. Okay, you have the ARC party with Emily Hughes and Rob Olson. You guys, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So we've been doing this since 2024, and Rob did such a good job this year putting together a playlist of every episode we've done, and I gave you a link to where they all are.
And it's right below everyone.
Yes, and so what we do is, and it was Rob's idea from the start. He said, "Hey, let's do." It was in December of 2023. Let's all do the 2 books a month from January to June and talk about what we're excited about. And I'm like, okay. Emily's like, okay. And a lot of it was to get Emily to get her list out there, the new one. We did it to launch the new list every year. Of course, we got a little bit early access, but her list is just amazing that she puts out.
Hey, look, don't you dare sell yourself.
Well, I use her list to do a lot of things, and I give her credit every time. But so then we said, okay, let's do it in June for the rest of the year. And we keep finding time to do this.
Good.
So this is I think it's the 5th one or something. So this was the one that just came out is 2026, January to June, 2 books each, rapid fire. In many cases, I usually read, like I've read a bunch of the ones I talked about, but many, they're just going on vibes on a lot of them. So
I'm going to ask you when we stop recording. I'm going to ask you what your two books are. I don't want to spoil it because I want everyone to listen.
Well, it's 2 books a month for 6 months, so
For
it's
six
12
months.
books.
All right. Oh man.
I'll talk about some of them when we talk about what I'm excited about for
Okay.
2026.
I couldn't adore your two cohorts more. Rob is fantastic, which reminds me, I actually have to reach out to Rob because he spilled the beans on something that he wants to do in 2026. And I won't say anything, but I told him that I was going to be his accountability buddy. He didn't ask me to. I just forced it on him. And I'm going to bug him because it's exciting as hell. He probably told you. We'll talk about it off mic.
We can, yeah.
And then Emily. Emily was one of the first people this is going back maybe 3 years, one of the first people I reached out to. And she was so gracious to join me for an interview. And I can't say enough about her. She just one of those wonderful people you meet in life.
One of the only sad things in my life in 2025 was my daughter moved from Western Massachusetts to Brooklyn, which meant I didn't have excuses to go visit Emily.
Yeah.
So I would visit, and then I would literally take one whole day, and we would just sit around and talk for, half a day, just the two of us.
She's just one of those people.
Yeah, have a meal and just hang out. I know.
Just good people. Okay, so that's the org party. Then, of course, you've got the lineup where you write horror book highlights. First off, I don't.
So I do that column actually 4 times a year with Lisa Quigley at the lineup. But I do the 2 she makes me do, which I love.
It's so comprehensive.
Yeah, I do. Well, I do a StokerCon wrap up in June, and in December we've talked about I don't want to do a regular best of. Okay. So what we do is let's take a look. Let's take a snapshot. And what were the big things, and let's put them into categories. And I love that because it really gets me to sit back and look at not just what books were the best or that, hit the most with people, but how do they go into trends? And every year I find some interesting trends. Like one of mine this year, the last one is religion being used in unique and different ways, which I thought was great. And then she lets me do 2 on my own during the year. So we just call it From the Haunted Stacks. So, and it's been fun. I've done that for a bunch of years as well. And you can just click on my name there and get all of them. It's fun. One of my favorite ones I did was This Librarian Wants You to Judge Books by Their Cover.
Oh!
I did cover artists. Yeah, horror cover artists. It was fun.
I have to peel off for just 1 second. We'll just do a quick aside. I just interviewed Lindy Ryan.
Yeah.
We talked about Dollface. How about that cover?
Yeah, that's a great cover. Lindy is amazing as well.
I mean,
and just such a force, but also great cover. Yes.
I told her, I said, this is going to be like, when you're cruising through the bookstore and you're not in the section that you want to go to yet, but you're going to see that from a mile away. It's like a lighthouse. So, and it's a great book as well. So I'm excited for her. All right, we're working up to Chicagoan of the year. All right, we're getting there.
Oh my gosh. That one is a lot.
Okay, so we have the lineup, we have the ARC party, we have RA for All, we have, of course, Why I Love Horror, which we're going to talk about in a moment. All right, I guess we're here. Chicagoan of the year.
4 books. 4 books.
4
not
books.
everything.
Well, look, I'm just going to say Chicagoan of the year, but yeah, it's 4 books. But I'm promoting you. What? I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
It was definitely a shock. The author is Chris Borelli is an amazing. First, I have to give a shout out to Chris Borelli for the Chicago Tribune. He covers a lot of things, but his main beat is books, and he does a fantastic job. He is willing to look outside at everything, but he always makes sure to bring things back to Chicago authors, Chicago area authors. He is promoting books at a major newspaper. When the funding is cut, he is doing a regular features, not necessarily, they get their reviews from other places, but he did a front page spread on Cynthia Pelayo last year. He's done things about the library. I just can't say enough about the work he's always done. And he loves horror personally. Yeah. So, I'm part of the Chicago chapter of the Horror Writers Association, and we have him come out to events. When we mention things, if he can't make it, he gets in touch with someone so he can cover it. We did this great haunted house at the Glen Ellen, Illinois Public Library a bunch of years ago. Okay. We tried it out. It's kept going. It's been great. We turned the whole library into this haunted house. We used writers, like we used Sina, we used Daniel Krauss, John Everson, all these people's work.
Mhm.
And then kids from the high school staged, like, they took like sections and then they staged them. It was just such a great community event. He came, he brought his wife, his kid, they went through it. Like, he's one of the few reporters I think still out there who is covering that book beat in a major city with seriousness. And I'm so thankful for him.
I don't wanna say that it is dwindling, but it feels like it, and to have somebody that champions it like yourself is just the best. They're doing the hard work, and we appreciate it. So, Chris, that's for you. You earned it.
But it was nice when he let me know that I was the Chicagoan of the Year. He sort of tricked me a little.
I
He told
mean,
me it was going to be about horror, but it's about all these Chicago horror authors who broke through, which is true. We have, well, Daniel Krauss has always been, and him and I go so way back. We used to be coworkers at Booklist. I've just known him forever.
I'm talking to him in 3 weeks
Great. Oh,
for the
Partially
first time.
Devoured is phenomenal. I mean, everything he writes is phenomenal. But then Cynthia Pelayo, and we also have Nick Medina and Christina Henry, S.A. Barnes. Like, we have all these big authors here in Chicago.
It's Chicago.
And so he told me it was going to be about Chicago horror, and then it turned out it was about me.
I love it, though.
But it was kind of nice to see the nice things that Stephen Graham Jones and Rachel Harrison and Cynthia and Daniel said about me, which was very kind. So.
I'm going to see Rachel on Wednesday at KGB in the city. I'll tell her you said hi.
Well, Rachel had the best quote of all. I told her. She said something to the effect of, I'm kind of like Shirley Jackson. You don't know. I've got the glasses and I'm just like a normal person. And then, and I spent a lot of time with Rachel this year on tour for the book. And it was really great to get to know her a lot better. We had way too much fun at some of our events. My favorite was Storyfest in Westport, Connecticut, when at the end of our panel, it was me and her and Clay McLeod Chapman and Haley Piper, and she started doing, instead of doing read-alikes like I do, she did what the coffee order would be at Starbucks for each of our books. It's online. You can watch it. It was great.
I am so sorry that you got saddled with Clay McLeod Chapman. He's so shy. We have to do something.
We did a lot of events together this year. It was fun. It was fun.
Clay is like buying a ticket to, he's the closest thing we have to like a carnival barker turn of the century.
Yeah.
There are so many. Look, I'm gonna knock wood. I've been doing this for 3 years, so I'm a newbie, but it's a jerk-free zone. I've yet to come across somebody. Now talking to me, that I bring a lot of theater kid energy to what I do. There are definitely some introverts in horror. It's littered with it, and some shy people, but they're all just the salt of the earth. The nicest people.
I want to talk about that actually, because when I did my book, I couldn't have done this book until now, I think. Well, I mean, it was turned in over a year ago.
Why do you think that?
Because I needed to put my name behind these people. My reputation is too important to me. These are all people in the book, all 18 authors I know are good people.
Yeah.
And I don't ever, I'm not going to have to worry that they're going to end up on somebody's list tomorrow. No. And I don't think I would have been comfortable doing the book unless I had the authors I wanted that I could believe in that. And a lot of it's from working with them with summer scares or doing things because I'm also the secretary of the Horror Writers Association. Let me tell you something. The secretary is in charge of membership. Guess who gets to deal with all the bad behaving members?
Oh.
So I have a beeline to, and I don't share it, right? But I'm mediating between people who are having beefs. I'm getting complaints. I'm finding out who's behaving badly. It's part of my job. So I also know who is involved. And so I don't think without all that knowledge, I would have been comfortable. I've done Why I Love Horror on my blog for years, right? Yeah. And it's a blog series and I invite people in October, but I can delete those, know? Yeah. This is a book, like 18 people. And I was really careful. And there were people I had to cut for space that I didn't want to, but nobody that I cut that I listed in the back that couldn't get in, got cut because of who they are as a person. It was just for space.
Well, I need
Yeah.
to immediately put you on the spot, though, Becky. There's got to be a volume two, three, four. There
Oh,
has
it's
to be.
so that's something that's one of my goals for this year is to really think about a significant writing project. But I don't just want to do Why I Love Horror too. I really don't.
Okay,
Because
all
the book
right.
is evergreen and it stands on its own, maybe in like 10 years with a whole new generation, but
Okay.
I don't want to just keep putting out the same book. I don't want to keep the essays work. What's so great about the book and the feedback I've heard is, and why I wrote it is these are examples of why people whose books you've heard of, whether you bought them or not, or if you're not someone who loves horror, but you love someone who loves horror, like these are the books you've seen on the shelf. And this is them telling you why they write the way they do. And that doesn't change if you insert another author, right? You'll get a different story,
Yeah.
but like I couldn't, Eric LaRocca couldn't get fit in, and he's one of my dear friends, right? And Sylvia Mary Garcia had to bow out for other reasons, and theirs would be different,
Yeah, but a
and they've written
fantastic
pretty
blurb, though.
yeah, well, they both did, which was so kind. I know. And I've worked with Sylvia for both of them for Summer Scares and Eric this last year. But they'd have a different they'd have a different essay. But how much different would it make the book? And then a whole other book of the same thing. Then someone else said, like, you should do who, what, where, why, when. And I said, I'm not doing that either. So I have to think of something that that's still bringing things to the readers. I've had a lot of people like, oh, I write science fiction. Do this for science fiction. I'm like, that is not my book to write. Like it's just so I have to figure it out. But the thing is that obviously it touched a nerve. You said it. Lots of people have said it. When's the next one coming out? And I think the next one is you need time to read all the books I told you to read. And
Mm,
that's what this book is going to bring. Also, it's kind of nice to write a book because my textbooks basically went out of print the moment I turned them in because
okay.
I have lists of books and so you're missing all the books. I was literally adding annotations until the last day we went to print for all three of them, right? This doesn't go out of date.
Well,
These are still authors that are worth reading.
we've got to get into the book. We're in the book now, so we need to get into it. I was not prepared for the emotion
Yeah.
at all. I think in the back of my mind, I thought like, oh no, I think I have an inkling of what these authors are going to kind of like, their horror origin story, which is typically how I begin each and every one of my interviews. Is like, all right, tell me, were you a horror kid? Were you not? Did you get into it later? Do you still not even like it? And it's just kind of like, this is the market that you ended up in, which happens.
Yes, totally.
I was not prepared for the one, two, three, four punch of them just opening their heart and talking so deeply and so affectionately about literature in general, horror specifically, what it meant to them, what they hope it means to the reader, their experience doing it, having success in it, not having success in it. I mean, I was like, the Kleenex. Are you kidding me?
I knew the people I asked trusted me. So that was the other thing, right? There had to be a trust there because all I said to them was why I love horror, 2 to 4,000 words go.
Yeah.
And but I say this and I say this on all my tour stops. I am going to be forever humbled by how much they trusted me. Whether it was Grady writing about his dad, which he's never done.
I have never
Where,
heard it.
yeah, well, he doesn't talk about his dad,
And
right?
I've interviewed him multiple times and
Yeah,
read
no,
everything he's ever done.
yeah. Or it's, Rachel who said, I almost said no because I was embarrassed how long it took me to find horror. And so like for her, one of the things that's been great is she wrote this great story. There are schools reading this. I went to a school in Westport, Connecticut before Storyfest where they read her essay as part of their class, right? Because it's such a relatable tale. And she was not embarrassed to share it, but scared to share it. And now that she shared it, she says like it feels like a whole weight's been off of her. She doesn't
It's
have
like a
to
piece of your
keep
heart.
pretending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then of course, like at my launch, Cynthia Palaio did my launch in Chicago. And I have a dear friend, Margaret Coffey, who works for Sourcebooks. And she's been my friend for 20 years. And she had been there, done that, right? She's been in publishing forever.
Mm-hmm.
She was crying after seeing I read the beginning. of her essay, like
It's
in tears in the front row. So, and there's just a range, it's just so many great stories that they shared from their hearts.
but it's
And
funny
showed
as
off how
well.
they write. I mean, I think John Langens is the perfect example, first of all, of a typical Gen Xer. He's a little bit older than me, but we're both Gen Xers. And then also, it showcases how he writes.
Yeah.
Like it's exact and Nunzo Ono, same thing. It showcases how she writes. And I've actually gotten a lot of feedback from older women about her story
Oh, I love that.
because she really writes about being a more mature woman and what she's been through and her trauma from COVID, which was really interesting as well. So anyway, we could talk about all of them, but it's just
You
great.
bring up a great point though, and I really want to illustrate it that horror is for everyone, and it's such a diverse uh, arena. There's something for everyone in this book. There's something for everyone. There's something, a sentence, a paragraph, an author that will touch everyone.
Yeah, if you like reading, you'll like this book. That's what, I say, like this is a book for book lovers.
Yeah. And look, the listeners are going to be like, here he goes again. Forgive me, Becky. I have to bring it up every single time I talk to authors. Is that I'm 57, so I have my wheelhouse was 80s horror. That's when it clicked for me. I was a young teen, and boy, oh boy, it was a Stephen King years and paperback horror boom. And you'd go to Brentano's, and I can still smell I have sense memory when I talk about it. But it was a lot of guys who look like me right now. And that's not the case now. Now there's just such a diverse field of authors with every flavor of the rainbow, and that's the way it should be. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to continue this thought because it's important for me to have you on, and it's why I want to have people like you and specifically you on, is because, and I don't throw this word around lightly, but you are a hero to me because you champion the written word, and it is under attack, and it's I can't put the words to it that of what you're going through on a daily. But I just want to thank you because I'm a former English teacher, and it means the world to me to have somebody fight, you know? So I'm sorry,
Well,
I get a little emotional.
I gave the keynote at the Stoker Awards last year. You can find that on YouTube, and it was all about the horror of this of book banning and our intellectual freedom being taken away. But I turned it on everyone, and I actually did this to librarians and publishers at the American Library Association conference as well, because I chastised everyone in the room and everyone watching, and yourself included. How much have you done? Have you gone to your library board? Have you gone to a meeting and spoken up? And so in favor of, even if there's no problems. And I did that a lot all summer. I actually shamed a whole room full of publishers.
Good, and you should.
But the point is that that's one of the other things I do. And horror authors, and if you watch that keynote, it's 10 minutes it's toward the beginning of the horror writer of the Bram Stoker Awards. But I talk about how who understands this absolute horror more than us, people who write about this,
You're
because
on the
this is
front lines.
terrifying. It's terrifying, and it's been really hard. I'm on the Intellectual Freedom Committee for the Illinois Library Association. I've also been on the board previously for them, and we're a state, Illinois, that legally has made book banning illegal. That doesn't mean we're not getting reports of book banning constantly. Let me tell you, and that's Illinois.
Okay. All right. I mean, so thank you for the work you're doing. I know you're never going to quit. Keep at it. The arts are so important to me. It's just, if you're a kid and you're floundering and you just kind of reach out into the darkness, you can find movies, you can find books, you can find dance or theater. It's there. It's there, and it can be a life preserver.
I'm going to tell you, I don't just do this for myself. I live it. I am paying for Vanderbilt University. My son is a jazz studies major.
All right.
So I am supporting an artist. I understand. I'm not just doing the work. I'm bringing up another generation of artists.
You're an incredible artist yourself. All right. So it runs in the family. All right. So here, I'll wipe my tears away, and now we can get back to it. The book is phenomenal. The link is below. Everybody click on it. You must have this book. And I say this for readers, not horror readers, just readers in general. Anybody curious about authors, not specifically horror authors, just authors. What's the what's that mechanism that drives them? It's there. The stories are funny and heartfelt and tender and touching, and they're going to make you feel good about yourself. So it's a great book. It's just a fantastic book, and it will soon have its own glowing review in Macabre Daily. So there you go.
Great, thank you.
You
And I
bet.
know that there is a specialty edition coming out. I don't know, like with I approved the cover art, and I don't know when those take a while.
Can we
So,
talk about what the specialty might be, or
well,
like
like
what?
it's one of those. I'm not. This is not my area of expertise
Okay,
because I don't
okay,
get to review those types of books. But
okay.
limited edition from a specialty press, where like there's extra
Oh, Becky, I'm going to
illustrations,
buy the
and
hell out of that book.
I don't know when it's coming out, but I know it's happening. And then we did also sell a foreign rights in Spain. So yeah,
Fantastic.
I have some paperwork to do for that still, but yes,
Oh, I can already see you and Grady Hendrix getting on a plane, and hey, off you go. All
we'll
right.
see.
Okay, let's talk about some books.
Sure,
So
let's go.
you're my go-to. I already mentioned Sadie, and I mentioned Emily,
Right.
and you. You three are like you're the trifecta. You're my go-tos. Whenever I want to know about past or previous or future, that's where I go. Talk to me about talk to me about 2025. I really want to talk about 2026 and what's on your radar. But what just floored you? I kind of know the answer to this, but for the
Right.
listener, talk to me a little bit about let's say like top 5 of what floored you.
And let me talk about this in go and see there's links with my top horror books.
Right below.
And I've written about them in many different ways. But one of the things I also want to draw people to is my overall what the best things I read were, because one of the things I like to do, and I do this with library workers too. I talk about conversation starters. That it's hard to just go up to someone like, "What's the last good book you read?" Because they're not book people always, and it's just like the librarian's asking me, and I don't know
Yeah.
the answer, and I
What
don't
do
know
you
anything.
like? Yeah.
So I do questions. So this year, and I gave you that link to look at. It's always my last post of the previous year. This year, I had an interesting experience, and it's on my shoulder here, but I had an overall favorite book
Oh, I
for
see it.
every genre,
Yeah.
and it's the Buffalo Hunter.
Yeah.
And I read it actually in 2024, and I was like, well, I'm done. Like that's the best book
That's
of the
it.
year. And but I loved seeing it get this national attention, and it was on best list for as a book,
Book.
right? Some
Exactly.
people like Kirkus had it as the best historical fiction. Publishers Weekly had it as best book. And so that was a unique experience for me. So when I was doing my best horror list, I was like, well, we're just taking that out because that was just the best book. I mean, it was still my best. But other things, I do other categories, and they're not specifically for horror. So, like, here's an example that isn't my best feel good read, which is The Thursday Murder Club. But I
Oh,
have other categories where horror kept coming up, such as a book that stayed with me all year, which was Angel Down by Daniel
Daniel
Kraus.
Kraus. Sure.
It's written as one single sentence. It was memorable. It was ambitious, but he pulled it off. And I just loved how when you read it, once you get into it, it's one sentence, but it's like a chant. And I just loved that. My favorite debut was a book called Listen to Your Sister by Nina VL, which is also a horror book. But it was my favorite debut overall. I
Okay.
really like pointing out debuts and it didn't make my best horror list, but it was my best debut.
All
I
right.
actually just finished her 2026 book called I'll Watch Your Baby. I'm doing an interview with her for the April 2026 issue of Library Journal. So I just finished that. One of my best books that was the biggest surprise of any book I read all year and is one of my top books of the year, The Country Under Heaven by Frederick Durbin,
Oh boy,
which is
we
a
need to talk
weird
about this.
Western. Have you read it?
I haven't read it. You turn me on to it because I am a huge C.S. Humble and Josh Roundtree
Yep.
fan, and they are bringing Weird Western to the forefront. And now I'm like, wait a minute, there's one I missed. So this is why I follow you.
Well, so what is interesting about this one is, unlike the two of them, I don't know if they do, and I've read them and I like them, but he's got a perfect Western in the old style. Perfect. Like
Okay.
even set just after the Civil War. Remember, I've taught the genres for years. So I set just after the Civil War. And he uses the war as he got injured. I think it was Antietam, and it opened a rift in between the worlds,
And monsters are
and
coming through,
monsters
right?
come through. And so he's doing the whole like Louis L'Amour, like riding in and cleaning up justice, but
Oh,
also like helping these monsters get back to their world. And it's also about race and about reconciliation. And it's both a perfect Western and a perfect horror book. And I don't know how he did it, but
okay.
it was a surprise. I picked it to put in my column because it sounded interesting. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this book. So it was my biggest surprise. Here's a book that is on the edge of horror that I want every single person to read. It's my best speculative fiction book. It's a teen book, but it's for everyone, called Best of All Worlds by Kenneth Opel. It is a band of survivors story. These
Okay.
people get whisked out of their vacation home and end up in this bubble, and they can't get out. And they live there and everything's provided for them.
Hmm.
I'm not going to give anything else away. Another family comes 3 years later. It is a story everyone needs to read at every age level, because it makes you think about our place in the universe, what it means to be alive, what is most important. It's just so many things, and you think he's going to start giving, which I agree with, like a left wing argument, because he brings in these people from Tennessee, and the guy has guns. The other
Right.
family, like the antagonist family, but it's not. He
Okay.
treats everyone with respect. And it was he's fantastic. We had the Nest as summer scares a bunch of years ago. Blew me away.
Oh,
And Mallory O'Meara told me to read it. I'm friendly with her, and I've been on reading classes a few times, and she told me to read it, so I listened to her and I read it. And then I have one more I want to share. Well, my two books that go right behind Buffalo Hunter that I can't stop thinking about
mhm.
are When the Wolf Comes Home
Oh,
by
Nat.
Nat Cassidy. You can read that book on one level and be like, this was great. And if you really read that ending again,
Yeah.
it's like a mind blow.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. And then a book that I'm really excited that lots of other people have enjoyed too, A Game in Yellow by Haley Piper.
Sure. Absolutely.
So those are some ones I really loved this year, like this past year. There's many more. I could talk about Clay's book, but those were the ones that, like, not just thinking about horror, that stuck with me.
It has been, and I want to get, I think I know the answer, but I want to ask you. I did a top 10 for Macabre Daily. It just posted this week, and I went to Matt Orozco, the owner and the editor in chief, and I said, Matt, dude, I got to do like another 13.
Yeah, I did more than 10 as
I'm
well.
like, this year is like, it's like
Yeah.
the gold rush and you hit a vein. And I'm like, I can't do 10. I have to double it. I could
I did the
easily.
same thing on my blog too.
Sadie did 50.
Yeah, I mean, because the scope of what's out there, you want to hit a horror book for every reader as well.
Right? Yeah.
I have limited time to talk about them. Now, good news, I got to review, like I said, like 67, 68 books. So I talked about those, and my words are there for everyone to read. So I don't feel as bad about it now because I get to do that. But
You shouldn't. You've already put it out there. It's there. You've done the hard yards, so it's there. But this was one of those years.
yeah,
And
it really was.
honestly, it's kind of been a couple of years like this. I am cautiously optimistic. I know we're only in 2026, the beginning, but I'm like, this is a decade. This is going to be a decade with it. We're going to look back on and be like, boy, oh boy, did we know how good we had it? I think we did, because we're celebrating it in the
I hope
moment.
so. I know. And, from my perspective with libraries, we're also in a period of the smaller presses, and I've worked with a lot of them, trying to get them to get distribution with Ingram, because for libraries specifically, and bookstores, but libraries, some of them cannot buy books unless they can get them through Ingram, right? You can't, because some libraries aren't allowed to buy off of Amazon. They aren't even allowed to go to their local bookstore. So there's all these authors who do like Amazon only. I'm like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to help you, but I can't.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time. I even work with the Independent Publishers Association doing podcasts and education for them, for their members, for their, what they call author publishers is what they call self-published, and then their small presses. And the number one thing I say is get distribution. So like Bad Hand and Shortwave, They did it this year, and they are able to go to that next level where now their books can be in libraries. I can review them, and I have been, but it was hard for libraries to get them. And it's something that Raw Dog Streaming Press did years ago, and they're reaping the benefits of it now. When you can go on to NetGalley and Edelweiss as a library, as a pre-reader, and download the books and see they're coming out, and just put your order in your cart. Because when you're a librarian, you're ordering, I was ordering, thousands of dollars of books a month, which was great. It was great because I felt like I could spend the money there and I didn't have to buy my own.
Right.
It was so much fun. But if they're not in Ingram, they get missed because we just don't have time. So that's also been great.
I love to hear that. And I love that Bad Hand and Shortwave were part of that because they deserve it.
They do good work.
Deserve it. Okay. So we've talked about 2025. Boy, oh boy. I'm at a crossroads, Becky, because I kind of want to do a whole nother episode with you about what you're looking forward to in 2026. Okay.
You don't have to so much because I did that with the ARC party.
Oh, that's right.
So people can listen to that.
Olson.
And you can just keep reading my reviews as they come out.
Yeah, but I want to have you back. But I'm going to get you back.
That's fine. I can talk about books however.
I already told Conrad, and I hope he didn't spill the beans, but I'm like, Conrad's coming back. We're going to talk about English ghost stories.
Yeah, that'd be great. He's great about that.
What about you? What is your what subgenre do you love?
Catnip? I love a story. It's funny because someone was asking me what makes a good horror story for you. First of all, this is not a genre, but I need a perfect horror ending. I need a horror ending that that sticks, but it leaves something there, right?
Yep.
But I think if I had to pick something specifically, it's a little more of the psychological horror. So did it happen? Didn't it happen? And I like the ones that make it clear that there is something more here. And if you just think it's all in someone's head, that you're missing the point. So psychological horror probably. But the thing is, I like historical horror. We talk about this in libraries. I'm a character reader. Okay. So I need there to be characters I care about, whether I care about them, that I like them, or I hate them. Like I just saw Marty Supreme, the movie, and I sat there the whole time. I'm like, in the middle of the movie, I said to myself, this man is despicable and I can't stop watching him. And right? That's the stories I need. So I also need a story where every detail matters, which is why I love Stephen Graham Jones so much. He doesn't put, and that leads me to one of my favorite books in 2026 so far. It's Wretch by Eric LaRocca. It is his best book yet because one of the cool things Eric does in his books is sometimes he goes off on little side tangents and gives you an extra story. Yeah. At Dark I Become Loathsome, there's a great example of that.
Don't you love that though?
I love that, but sometimes they don't really play in except on the bigger scale. Like at Dark, I love it. I gave it a star, right? At Dark I Become Loathsome, it becomes important on a larger scale. Yeah. But here's the thing. In Wretch, every little detail that's put in there, every little side ephemera, all comes back. And I told him after I finished it, that was your most complete book yet. That ending I'm not going to give anything away, brings everything together. Okay. And it has one of those perfect endings. He does really well with endings though. And I was like, oh my gosh, Eric, I don't know. You did it. So I think that's a book I'm excited for people to read. It's going to have everything people who like Eric LaRocca in there, but for people who want more. Yeah. And I know there's some people who are like, he's great, but I want more. This book is more.
This is it. Oh, I can't wait to read it. I cannot wait to read it. Okay.
And there's another book I want to talk about.
Oh, please, come on.
So, and I actually my review posted this last week. And literally the only thing wrong with this book is the title. It's Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker.
I agree with you 100%. I do not like the title.
I feel like it's not showing respect to her, but that's a whole other thing. That's not her fault. Look, I liked Korzang and the Bad Eater and Other Names for Korzang. I liked it a lot.
It's in my top 10. Yeah.
It has the kill scene at the end in the dry cleaner. I mean, great. And I had it in my list on the lineup, right? About, using religion in interesting ways. I've read a lot of Asian horror, and The Hungry Ghost is a lot of authors use it as a crutch. She made it something different and unique, which I loved. And not enough people are talking about that. They're talking about the COVID, but I think The Hungry Ghost was where she anyway.
And it
So,
sparks the curiosity
yeah,
because, culturally, it's not my culture. So I'm like, oh, I need to learn about that. And then it opens up a whole new door.
it does. I love that Asian horror. But anyway, Japanese Gothic, again, you've read it, obviously. Huge twist in it that makes it not so much a twist, but like makes it so much larger of a story, makes it more universal. And it's a time slip novel. It's two characters, it's one house. They move across time. I don't want to give a lot away. It's not a Gothic, like in the sense of
In the
like,
sense
well,
of,
in the
yeah,
sense of Mexican Gothic, which I love, and I was one of the early lovers of that book. Um, that is taking the British Gothic standard
the elements.
and
Yes.
trying to tell it from a Mexican point of view. And it was awesome. And it was perfect. This is its own story that
Yeah.
happens to be set in Japan. And it's got Gothic elements, but it also is, again, I don't want to give stuff away. It's so much bigger. It's about time. It's about people. It's about connection. It's about
Becky,
mythology.
if it wasn't titled, if it didn't have the title Japanese Gothic, it wouldn't. And someone read it, and you said, "What? All right, just don't even think about it. What's this book about?" They wouldn't say Gothic.
No, they wouldn't. That's my point. It has Gothic elements, of course.
Yeah.
It should have been called the House of Sword Ferns. Like it should have been.
Perfect. Done.
It should have been. And I don't know what happened, and that's not her fault. But let me tell you, this
No.
book is fantastic. I can't even.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
I have an interview with her in the January issue. It's in paper. It's not online yet. And we talk about like how she separates out what she writes for teens versus what she writes for adults. It's just fascinating how her brain works with that. But she loves horror, which is great.
Blowing up, though. Exciting times. Yeah. I get excited for these authors. So excited for them. Okay. Give me two more for 26. Give me two more.
Two more. Well, I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited for the upcoming Paul Tremblay. It just landed in my box.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, I know, but it's and I'm gonna like space on the title right now. Maybe you can look it up, but it's like Philip K. Dick meets horror.
Dead but Dreaming of Electric Sheep.
There we go. And it just hit my inbox today or yesterday. I'm reading it for the April column in Library Journal. I'm really excited about it because he's excited about it.
I love
right.
Paul.
So right, and when he is when he likes all of his books, but when he's like, no, I love this book, then I know we're in for something great. And it's this theme that we're seeing of sort of sci-fi horror, but not space sci-fi horror, right? Like S.A. Barnes did that, and she's great. But like Rachel Harrison's doing a time slip novel. I'm excited for that one.
She promised me a cryptid novel down the road, and I'm going to hold her to it.
Well, yeah, but like she's doing a time loop, not a time slip, a time loop novel. So there's this like very much science fiction-y horror, and I think there's a huge audience for it. And then another book that I just read recently that really surprised me. It's a name we all know, T. Kingfisher. Yeah. But when I am reading an author like that, I'm really strict, and I haven't given her a star in a little while. And oh goodness, what is it called? Wormwood, I think it's called.
I want to say it's Worm something.
Yeah. Oh, and I read it. I'll look it up. But because I read my review just came out, of course, but I read it, months ago.
Yeah.
Wolfworm, and it refers to a bug that's in it. This is bug body horror. It's about nephrotic bugs, but it's also, this one is a Gothic. And one of the reasons when I was reading it, the main character is the reason it's a star. But here's one of my favorite things in it, and this is just one example of how carefully I pay attention to the writing to know if it's a star. She's a daughter of a scientist. She was his illustrator. Her dad died. It's the 1800s. She can't get a job illustrating because she's a girl, right? She's a woman, and they don't want to do that. So she finds this reclusive guy who does nephrotic bugs. She's staying at his manor. It's dilapidated. There's stuff going on, but she's an academic, okay? At one point, there's this locked place in the woods that she saw people going into. Something's in there.
Yeah.
And she goes, I am not one of those plucky heroines from a Gothic novel. I don't know how to pick locks. So I'm going to have to figure out another way in. And I was like, bravo. Like, you could have made her just a plucky heroine who picks locks, but you're calling out the fact that is unrealistic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I saw some people online and like early readers be like, this moves slow. Why didn't she just get in there sooner? I'm like, because that's not the story, right? So I love and all the twists and the things that happen, and there's stuff about the area of North Carolina, which T. Kingfisher knows very well,
Mhm.
and some race issues, and it was and obviously women's issues. It was great, and lots of nephrotic bugs. So
Tempt me with a
buyer
good time, why
beware,
don't you?
buyer beware. It's gross
Well,
but scientific. And T. Kingfisher is a illustrator. As Ursula Vernon, she did a whole bunch of children's graphic novels, and just the description of how to draw these bugs and the detail and how you mix the colors, it was fascinating.
T. Kingfisher's novels, their covers are amazing. Their artwork themselves, they should be on
I
walls.
agree. It was
Unbelievable.
fantastic. So those are a couple that are coming out that I've read already that
Okay.
I'm excited about.
I get to just, because we have to make this all about me. I got very excited yesterday because Michael Wehunt announced his new novel, and the October film haunt was my favorite of
You are not
2020.
the only one. I unfortunately didn't get to read that one, so I'm gonna catch up this year.
Becky, it reminded me. I wrote about it in ad nauseum. It reminded me so much of when uh, Mark Danielewski's House of Leaves came out in
Oh,
2000,
okay.
where it was like, wait a minute, wait, team timeout. A novel can like make me feel this way and can kind of bend my head, and I fully give myself over to it. And it's all, I write for Macabre Daily. Of course, I love movies as well. So there's that whole obsessive, borderline toxic, actually not even borderline, obsessive toxic fandom culture woven throughout it. It's so good. It's
That's what
so
I've heard,
good.
and that's kind of my favorite type of story too. That just bends my brain, and I can't.
You gotta
So yeah,
love
it's
it.
on my list. I
All right.
just yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, you and I can commiserate because there are going to be blind spots and gaps because we can only read so much. We want to read it all, but we can't.
But the difference between me and you is I can then make sure someone else reads it, right?
Yeah,
So
you're
I have
cheating.
helped get this cadre of reviewers at Library Journal and Booklist, and I've helped them find more people to review. And so I'll get a book from people, like the publishers send me the books, and I'm like, well, I'm already full, but here, assign
Take
it
it.
to someone.
Have
And
at it.
they choose who to assign it to if it gets covered. But there's so many books that weren't getting covered because they were getting lost in the general submission pile of Booklist and Library Journal. And when I can say, hey, I think this one's going to be worthwhile, so I make sure other people read it. So I at least feel like it's getting the promotion it needs, which
Look at
makes me
that
happy.
wide net you
Yeah,
cast out there. That's fantastic. All right. I am not going to let you go without you promising me that you're going to come back.
sure.
Historical horror, maybe?
Sure, we can do whatever you want.
You want to talk? All right. Talk to me about movies for a hot minute. Are you a movie lover?
I am, but honestly, I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I mean,
Doesn't
I
have
watch
to be horror.
some. No, I do love movies. I'm a big movie person, but I like historical horror. I loved Sinners this year, and I would have loved it even if I don't like horror, right? And I
Oh,
did love Marty Supreme. I love great storytelling movies. There Will Be Blood is one of my favorite movies.
it's when we
Right?
were talking about characters, all I kept thinking of is, oh, it's got to be Daniel Plainview. You know,
Yeah,
you love
I do
Daniel
love that
Plainview.
movie. No, and I was an American Studies major in college, so I really enjoy things that take especially a darker look at American history, but
American
that
history. We're
really,
going to do that.
yeah, great. We'll do that.
We're going to do top five of novels that really peel back the onion and expose America for what it
Well,
actually is.
Buffalo Hunter Hunter.
And then how about the Reformatory?
Yeah, well, I called that a masterpiece. It's on the book.
It is. I mean, I could talk to you forever, Becky. All right, I'm
Yeah,
going to let you
and
go.
those are the books I do end up picking as my favorites every year. Those ones that do a lot of that hard work.
Well, they land.
Peeling it
They
back.
they they just land so hard, and I mean that in the best way. They you really become immersed in them, and then when you read the last page and you put the book down and you go, you
Yep.
know, you and I both know there are tons of books. You read the last page, you put it down, and you go on with your day. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just
No,
that those novels that just land are the ones that they're sticky. You can't get rid of them easily, and you don't want to. And that's a great experience.
I agree.
All right. Every single link, it's going to go on for 17 pages because Becky does too much. Every link is below. You made my week. You made my month. You made my year. I had so much fun tonight. You are an absolute joy to talk to.
Well, and we'll get to do some more talking at StokerCon, so
You
it'll be
got it.
great.
You got it. And you're going to be buying me a cocktail because you're probably going to have your own show by then.
I have a lot of people to buy cocktails when I get there. So we actually had a whole meeting where we talked about making cocktail buying easier at StokerCon because it was not easy last year.
This is my first one. I'm going to be a newbie. I'm so
well,
scared.
it's a priority. Anybody listening who had to wait in 2 lines to get liquor in Stamford, literally, it's a priority to make it be 1 line to get liquor.
Oh my goodness, I might bring my own cooler. All right,
Yeah.
I'll be in the parking lot. Go enjoy your night. I will be in touch soon. This interview, I will post this interview next week. I'm going to work on it quickly. And like I said, all the links will be below. And then I'll give you some breathing room, but I'm going to reach out fairly shortly. And we're going to do that. Let's expose the dark side of Americana. Top 5.
Fine with me.
Oh, I love it. All right. Go have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Sean. It was wonderful.
Anytime. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.